Hello everyone, welcome back to the Aqua-Tech Sales and Marketing YouTube channel. My name is Matthew Pottins, and today we're going to shift gears a little bit. We've been talking about the Night Boiler by Lochinvar, and today we're going to talk about the Epic Boiler by Lochinvar, which is basically a very simplified version of the Night. So we're just going to run through the controls, look at the parameters, and learn a little bit about the navigation. So let's take a look. Here we are on the Lochinvar University website. So as I mentioned in a previous video, all the simulators are on this website. For the sake of this video, we're going to click on the Epic Fire Tube Simulator down here in the corner. Now we see the first thing is a setup wizard, and this setup wizard has 10 basic questions similar to what your phone would ask you the first time you set it up. Basically how you want your phone to operate. These 10 questions are how you want your boiler to operate. So the first thing we see is time and date, and we can adjust this by the up and down arrows on the right side. And once we get that to the correct time and date, we can push the next button on the lower right hand side, and it takes us to our space heating set point on the coldest day. Now what that means is when it's the coldest day outside of the year, what do we want our space heating set point to be? So in this example it says 120, but it might be adjusted based on the different heat emitters that you have. So an in-floor might be a little different, a radiator might be a little different, or an air handler might be a little different. So we have to determine, based on what we're actually heating, what we want that set point to be on the coldest day. The next thing that we're going to do is go to our max space heating set point. So this is what are we allowing the max temperature that we can set our set point to be. So it comes default as 185, but we can adjust that to our max potential spacing set point to be 165 or 159 or 145, whatever we want. The next thing we'll do is go to our outdoor temperature on the coldest day. So in the previous temperature, we said that on the coldest day we want it to be 120, and this is telling us that at 10 degrees Fahrenheit we want it to be 120. Now we can adjust this as well. So different climates obviously require different colder temperatures or warmer temperatures. And this is completely adjustable. But we just have to remember that this is on the coldest day. What temperature do we think on the coldest day we're going to set our highest temperature for? Moving along, our outdoor shutdown. So at what point outside is our boiler just going to stop running and not produce any heat based on the temperature outside? The factory sets a default as 70. Again, this can be changed. And then we go into our automatic reset high limit. So if we hit 200 degrees, our boiler is going to go into a high limit error code, and then it will reset once the temperature lowers by itself. This is again is adjustable. The next one is our manual reset high limit. So once the boiler hits 210 degrees for whatever reason, the boiler will go into a manual reset, and we'll have to actually go there and physically reset the boiler, which you can see is on the left hand side here. The next setting is our domestic hot water set point. So on the combi boiler, we're going to adjust this for whatever we want the plate heat exchanger inside the unit to produce. Or if we're using an indirect water heater, we can adjust this too. What we want our set point in that tank or our set point coming out of that plate heat exchanger to be. In this case, it's 120. On the combi, I believe we can go up to about 150. Space heat rate limiting. So this is an interesting feature. It actually allows us to minimize or limit the modulation of the boiler. So right now this boiler will actually modulate, has a 10-to-1 modulation, so anywhere from 10% to 100%. And we can put this down to a maximum of 90%, 80%, 55%. It really depends on what you're going for. So for example, on the combi boilers, let's say you need a lot of hot water but not a lot of heating. So you're going to limit this on the heating side. Then we have our combi preheat, which comes enabled. Basically, this keeps water inside the unit somewhat heated so that when there's actually a call for heat, there's hot water ready to go. Most things we know about combi boilers is that there's a cold water sandwich, or it takes a long time to get hot water. This is trying to eradicate that. And then that's it. So some very basic questions. We can set it up very easily. You can see that that explanation was maybe 4 minutes. And if we have any more things that we want to do, we can just log back into the menu by pushing the bottom right key. Our password won't just pop up. We'll have to actually enter it, but you can see that the password is 5309. Once we enter it, we'll push the next button, and it takes us into all of our settings. And we can scroll down and down and down, and we can actually go right back into the setup wizard in case we thought we missed something. Just click on the setup wizard, and we're right back in that beginning spot. So you can see how easy that actually is. And if you want to really dive into all the parameters, what you can do is pull up the our installation operation manual on page 65. You can see that it has a breakdown of all the parameters on page 65 and page 66. And there's a lot of things that we can do with this boiler, which we'll get into in some further videos, but right now, that's all we're going to touch on. Thanks for watching. I hope that was useful for you. Please provide any feedback that you have and subscribe. And I believe that this hair is worth a thumbs up. So enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.